Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about the new Tomorrowland Speedway reopening, a now debunked rumor on the Land and the Seas Pavilion, and the new Disney Pixar movie Onward, on this episode of Always Crowded Theme Park News. Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Always Crowded Theme Park News. I'm your host Davis Cruz. Make sure to follow us on our new social media accounts at Always Crowded. Today, joining me for the Disney news, I've got with me Nevada, Ashlyn, and Danielle.
It's nice to be here.
I'm very excited about this.
I can't wait to talk about Disney.
Alright, so I had news from last week, so I think we should probably start off with that. Alright, so construction has begun in another part of Epcot this past week for their Phase 1 construction. A part of updating the entrance to Epcot, Disney has now started the process of removing the Leave a Legacy monuments. These monuments will move just outside the park's gateway. Did you guys ever like having these monuments in Epcot near the front of the entrance?
I feel like growing up, whenever I walked by them, I always was really intrigued by looking at the faces on them. I feel like they make everything a lot more crowded though, so I'm excited to see them gone. I wish that I could have, in a way, left a legacy. I thought it'd be really cool to put your face up there. So if they are moving them, I think it'd be really cool if they could add and do a modern one too. So modern day people that come and visit can start leaving their legacy too. Because I know that they are old, but I do agree with Danielle that they do crowd up because everyone crowds around and take the photo in front of the ball or with the Flower and Garden Festival, and you have to like weave in and out of them. So it will be a lot more open, which will look weird at the beginning, but we'll get used to it after a while, like we all do with the new Disney changes.
Did you guys ever feel like it was futuristic, since Epcot's always been appealing to more of a future type? Did you ever feel like this was kind of a future thing, in a way?
If you think about, I guess, the word legacy, you're supposed to leave it for the future. So if they're trying to play in that way, then yes. But I never thought it was like futuristic, like the different little places like Test Shark. I feel like it's futuristic after they changed that. I don't think it fits in that future, but if you're thinking legacy and future that way, then yes, it does fit into one, I guess, definition of future. I don't think the look of it was very futuristic. If you're talking like architecturally, I don't think that it looked too futuristic. The idea of it was cute for leaving like a mark on the world, but I don't think it looked futuristic.
Did you guys ever feel like it was kind of in a way blocking or kind of taking away some of the shine of the big Spaceship Earth ball?
Definitely. I think that once it's like returned to how it looked on opening day, it's going to look a lot nicer, and it's going to be exactly as like Imagineers envisioned.
Alright, so moving on to more Epcot news. This past week, there was a rumor going around that has now been debunked, thankfully. With Phase 1 of reimagining Epcot in full force, rumor has it, or was, that Phase 2 would include demolishing the Seas and Land pavilions. This would have completely bulldozed the buildings, but then Soaring would have a separate entrance and remain unlike the rest of the pavilion. This would have happened between 2024 and 2026. I kept this in there for us to talk about because it's kind of something to think about, that Disney is more kind of getting rid of their, I don't know how, in a way, they're getting rid of less IP rides and more focusing towards more IP rides like Guardians of the Galaxy and Ratatouille. Would you be happy if they tore down these pavilions?
I don't want it to be torn down, but I'm really looking forward to the rides like the Ratatouille ride and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. But I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of tearing buildings down to make that happen.
I think that the original envisionment of like Epcot and the Land and the Seas were what was pictured for the parks. I think that they do need refurbished and updated, but I don't think that the demolishment of both of those pavilions would have gone over well, and I don't think that it would have been a smart idea on their part.
I think Disney nowadays keeps looking to what they can do next, what they can add next, what they can bring more people into. And if tearing down an old building would get them the extra little push for new ride or the new money, I think that they would do it. But I'm glad that they finally took a step back for once and realized, we can't actually tear down some of these buildings that people may enjoy. They already have other rides coming, so I don't really think Epcot really needs as much as construction as Hollywood Studios did, where they closed basically everything and they needed more. So I'm kind of glad that they finally, in a way, took a step back and didn't just go full force into tearing things down like they have before.
I'm going to be honest, I really don't think Disney cares that much how, at least not all that much, but how much their guests actually love their pavilions in a way, because they all just want money in a way, as much money as possible in much ways to grab people, as in the Star Wars coming to Hollywood Studios that land, or this past weekend Disneyland having their own Star Wars. They're trying to grab everybody in to come and visit. So I think that's, in a way, they're trying to implement more IPs for them to earn more money and people to the park. So I think this is kind of on their part. They kind of want this to happen so they can implement more IPs in a way for more pavilions.
I could see it happening in the future. I just don't think that they would do it right now, just because of the amount of money that it would cost them to tear down both of the buildings. Because they do have 2 new rides coming right now, so they're gonna want to hold off before they start more development and demolishment on those 2 areas. So I could see them doing it in the future, but I think right now it's too pricey and too expensive, and there's gonna be too much going on at one time. They're gonna want people to come back after going on Ratatouille and going on Guardians of the Galaxy. They're gonna want these new things to be coming in 2 years after, 3 years after, and then they'll come back and do that again, spend more money.
I do agree with that, but then I know they don't really care about pavilions and the historical factor, but that's what makes Disneyland California so exciting, is that it's the original, it has the old, and you don't really see them tearing down any of the old rides. So I feel like Disney World, in a way, I've heard people say it's more the commercialized, where they just want money and they want it fast, and they'll just keep adding, and it's more exciting, and we have more tourists come visit and everything, and it's great. But I also think there should be some things that they should keep, and I'm not saying the pavilions are one, because not really that many people look at them or think that, they're historical in a way. But I still think that they should keep some things original to maybe what Walt or some of the earlier Imagineers wanted. And if that's what some of the earlier Imagineers wanted, these pavilions, and I think that they should maybe think about it. But they don't. If Disney just wants more money, then they're going to tear it down no matter what at this point.
I'm also surprised that they chose the Seas Pavilion and the Land Pavilion when they could have done the Imagination Pavilion, since it's just a theater and Figment ride, which I don't think many fans would be too upset over. Well, they also have I don't think there'd be that many fans sad over the Seas and Land. Maybe more over the Land than any of the 3. But I'm surprised they're tearing down these 2, unless they already have some plans ready for Phase 2 for Imagination Pavilion, to something to go in there to replace the Figment ride.
You're talking to 2 of the biggest Figment fans right here, Ashlyn and Danielle.
Woo! Not really, but yeah.
I'm a big Figment fan.
But what are they going to do with the animals in the seas?
Oh, they were thinking about relocating. I read a whole thing about how
they could probably go somewhere in Animal Kingdom near the, I don't know where.
Of course, I want the animals to be safe, but it's just they had to think this whole entire process through. But there had to be someone or something that stopped that.
I'm sure that it was maybe just a rumor. It might not even be an idea that they had right now, but they were gonna potentially have in the future. But it was just blown up into something big, because they couldn't have even thought about tearing down the Land right now. They just announced that show coming out in the Land. They're not gonna tear it down.
Yeah.
This is 2024 to 2026, and this is Phase 2, so they're letting people at least experience the show, but they must not have high hopes or expectations for it. I mean, for only lasting 4 to 5 years, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Disney goes through so many shows nowadays that I have no clue which ones are which anymore.
All right, so on to the next news topic. After 9 months of work, Hollywood Studios finally has a permanent tram stop at the front of the park. With the new tram stop came new security checkpoints, all getting ready for the preparation of the opening crowds for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in August 29th of 2019, this year. Did you guys like how Disney set up the maze to the entrance of Hollywood Studios?
We hated it yesterday.
We hated it from the buses. We acknowledged that the tram stop would be really nice now, but that's also, the tram stop before was fine. It was just annoying because we've been dealing with it stopping in the middle of the parking lot for the past...
Basically every park that you go to at this point.
So I think that once they open up like the area that's currently under construction still, I think that the walk from the buses will still be like shorter and it'll be nice. I just can't wait to like see it because it did feel already more open yesterday. But once they open up the rest of it, I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot nicer. It's just always hard to like let that sense of like familiarity go, because you knew where to go, you knew exactly how to like go through the checkpoints, but it'll just be something that's new and routine.
On to the next one. After a long refurbishment, the Tomorrowland Speedway reopens to a shortened track and its good old fumes and motor sounds. The Speedway did get a change in exterior and a new coat of paint. This attraction closed to accommodate the upcoming Tron ride coming to Tomorrowland for the 50th anniversary. Did you guys ever care for the Tomorrowland Speedway?
It's knockoff Autotopia. I don't think it's very... I'm sorry.
Autotopia is absolutely way better than this.
Autotopia is like the different like... Oh, sorry. Like the different like routes that you can take. I like Tomorrowland Speedway, but now it's even shorter than it originally was.
I think that's important to keep it though, because it was an opening day attraction. So that like nostalgia feel is kind of there. But at the same time, it's short and it's just not that great.
It takes up way too much space too.
Yeah. I've never been on it until the other day, so I went on it for the first time on the shortened course, and I very much enjoyed it. So I don't care what anyone has to say. I loved the Speedway. It felt like it was the closest thing to like a go-kart or bumper car thing at Disney, and I absolutely loved it.
Did you guys like seeing it open up? Back up in its, I guess you could say, new reimagined form?
I liked the week before it opened up, whenever I was there and I saw the cast members just riding around with no like track. I thought that was hilarious because they were just like going for it, and it was a sight to see.
I think it might be cooler with the train, and once the Tron ride opens, there's gonna be more people, and it might be a little more crowded. But I guess there's not really much to look at when there's just construction everywhere on the track.
Hey, it's always crowded.
It was so crowded on yesterday night. So crowded.
Yesterday night? Oh yeah, when we went.
Yeah,
we went last
night.
Would you guys be okay if they closed down the Speedway? Because it takes up way too much space, and they could have used Tron for it. At least more space for Tron.
Okay, I know I just said that it's the knockoff version of Autotopia.
I know, and you said it's an opening day attraction, but I mean, they need to change something about it because it feels like it hasn't changed except the track has gotten shortened.
I can't do that. Autotopia is huge. It's like, now it's like 3 or 4 times the size of Tomorrowland Speedway. Like, wow. See, it's a knockoff of Autotopia, but at the same time, like, you're gonna take away some of my childhood, and I'd probably be really upset about it. But
just for Tron.
Exactly. So, like, the fact you take away from it for something that's coming up that's